Welcome back, friends. Thanks for joining us. We are here at Viva Fresh Expo 2026 in beautiful San Antonio, Texas. Our event this year is located at the JW Marriott Hill Country Resort. If you did not make it this year, you're listening to this, you probably didn't. Make sure to put it on your schedule for next year. It's a great event. You'll recognize this fine-looking gentleman off here to my right. It's Mr.
Sporting my fine-looking jacket too, baby.
Sporting a jacket, we'll say that.
Fine-looking jacket.
Mr. Craig Slade.
I mean, I've had people tackle me in the hallways to say, I'd like to say how good that jacket looks on you.
You look like
that's true.
You wrecked your car into a fabric store.
Oh, my God. Did you write that before this?
I did not.
You did
came
not
up with
organically
it.
come up with that.
I
No
just
way.
came up with it. All right. So, but
Get
in all
you a stand-up
seriousness,
job.
we have a very special guest here that we're very happy to have join us. Emily Shaw.
Hello.
How are you? Senior Director of Produce Procurement at HEB. Thanks for coming.
Thank you guys for having me. This is my first podcast, so
Oh, you're kidding.
let's go with it.
Wow, we should have brought some champagne.
Yeah. That may have helped me on this.
Was being on a podcast in your bucket list at all?
No.
It was.
No, not at all.
Well, you didn't know
I'd go
that
ahead and put
was.
it there and just say you finally cleaned
I actually try to stay away from these types of things.
Really?
So,
You're kidding.
no,
See, we try to talk every time somebody will give us a chance.
Yeah.
no. If I can, if I'm in the moment and if I know what I'm talking about, if I know the people that I'm talking to, I'm all in. But to do this and feel like the eyes are on me, I'd rather
Oh well,
be in the operations, be in it.
we're pretty friendly, so I think I'm sure you can handle it.
There's a song, All Eyes on You.
Really?
Yeah, it says, that's Fergie, I think, does it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
All Eyes on You.
So you said operations.
Yes.
Right? Share with our friends, I guess, your last, I don't know, change, if you will,
Okay.
from where you came from, where you're at today. Obviously, I shared what your position is, but it wasn't long ago you were in a different role.
Correct.
Right? Would love to explore some of the differences, some of the similarities, and then obviously some personal stuff that, folks would want to know about you that, don't talk to you every day.
Okay. Do you want me to start from the beginning or just most recent?
Sure,
the
no,
transition?
beginning origin story would be
Okay.
great.
So I'm originally from Illinois. Illinois, I was raised by a single mom. She worked in warehousing, started, as an hourly employee, worked her way up to eventually being a site leader with a contract processor for Caterpillar. I remember when I was younger, I would go and ride on if she had to work overtime, I'd ride on a forklift with one of her employees. Yeah. We'd drive
You didn't
around.
hear that, OSHA?
Yeah. You can't do it now. You can't do it
We
now.
don't do that at
Actually,
HEB.
I'm not sure you're supposed to do it then.
Yeah,
but you
yeah,
did it.
but I did it. I mean, someone had to, we had to have some supervision. But did that, went to college. So did my undergrad with Illinois State University. I did a small stint in recruiting. Absolutely hated it.
Wow.
I was in the Chicago area, came back to Peoria, and I needed a job. I was going to have to start paying my student loans in the next couple months. So I also started working at a warehouse. This was 2008. I'm sure y'all remember the economy sucked.
Oh, yeah.
So started working at a warehouse. I was packing service parts for Caterpillar. Continued to work my way up into leadership. Through that, I was like, okay, this supply chain thing, this is kind of fun. Maybe I was born into this. So
You
go
skipped
ahead.
over. Where'd you go to school?
I got my undergrad at Illinois State University, and then when I realized how much fun supply chain was, I got my MBA with a concentration in supply chain management and logistics through Kaplan University. So while I was working.
Okay, very cool. Just wanted
Yeah. So go Redbirds.
to go those Redbirds.
Yeah. But did that, continue to work my way up into leadership. I thought I would just eventually, go over to Caterpillar. But the company I was with just kept having me do different rotations. So I did a rotation in HR. I did a rotation where we were really trying to own our own continuous improvement initiatives. And so leading out on that for the company, I was able to start up multiple warehouses with them. And then in 2013, they asked me to move to Waco, Texas.
Oh.
And I'm like, hey, if anything to continue to grow in my career.
Mhm.
They didn't tell me how challenging it was going to be. I think I was.
Waco is such a great spot.
It's Waco's amazing.
Oh, it's not.
I love Waco. But so moved to Waco, was leading an operations that was we were going to lose our contract with CAT. So had to really work with that team to put in place processes to meet our KPIs with Caterpillar. Had to, go through some organizational changes. Did that, grew that business. Then 2015, I was like, if I wanted to grow with the company that I was with, I would have had to have gone back to Illinois, and living in Texas now, that wasn't going to happen. So Target had reached out to me, and I joined Target in their supply chain. Worked with them for about 4 years. Got to work on both the e-commerce side and the distribution side. And then
But the warehouse was not there, right?
so no, it was in Midlothian, Texas.
Midlothian.
I drove every day 160 miles
I've
to
been to
and
that
from work.
DC.
Yeah.
It wasn't close to Waco.
No, it wasn't. But it was the long term, for me. I was like, well, eventually they'll move me, so might as well. We owned our home, might as well just keep driving. But it was a lot. And then some leaders left and came to HEB and asked if I'd be interested in joining HEB. And I knew HEB as the store. I honestly didn't even know that, being in Waco, that we had a distribution center in Temple. So I interviewed and fell in love with the company, and I've been with HEB for almost 7 years now. Started in Houston. I was leading the frozen warehouse, then moved over to the dry grocery warehouse. Then my last role, I was senior director with all of Houston warehousing. And then about 6 months ago, I was asked if I'd be interested in joining produce procurement. And I thought,
You said, yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
I said, y'all are crazy. And maybe I am too. But no, I think for me, right, being on the side where you're constantly managing expenses and you're looking at how do we improve our processes and leading people and transitioning over to where it's like you are generating sales, you are making these really big decisions for the company, for our customers, for Texans, and learning a completely different side of the business. I see the opportunity, It meant that we had to move again, my family, but I haven't looked back. I've, and now being able to really combine, my knowledge and the teams that I've worked on between warehousing and produce is, just an opportunity that I am so grateful that I have this to be able to learn and have.
So it's pretty human nature, right, to feel like we all have it a little harder than everybody else does. Are there any graces you would say you can give now that you didn't know before, that perhaps were a misperception?
Yeah. So every time procurement would call the warehouse and ask us to receive that trailer in, I'm like, we're just doing this because y'all messed something up. And how many times am I going to keep doing this? And how many times are you not going to learn and do something differently? So what I learned is that we honestly have no control over probably 99.99% of what's happening, whether it's transportation, whether it's the weather. I've heard, this year, not, just coming into this industry, that it's been one of the toughest years that anyone has seen in a very, very long time. But it's understanding that, and then my job is to be that link, right? And to connect our warehousing partners to make sure they understand the why and the what. So we can work together to ultimately, do what we need to do to be able to get those groceries or to get the groceries to the stores.
It takes time though, right? A lot of the time we don't prioritize connecting teams in order to, look, the reality is, how many conference calls do we all have every day? I feel like at this point, I'm basically doing most of my job in the evening because of the conference call, right? And keeping people in the loop. But it is so important, right? And just buy-in, from a culture perspective, from a motivational perspective. It's just, it's a it's a great strategy. It's just not always easy to employ.
Yeah. Well, and I think we got good at it because we had to during COVID. Um, some of our, divisions that may didn't talk as much to each other as they should, but now we're really real. I mean, we continue to elevate and see, like, we don't need to do it when times are really tough, but how do we do that now, whether it's through some of our leadership or development experiences, or putting someone in an area that they have no business being in.
Well, but that's that's the so I'll say HEB has been part of my career since I got in produce in the early '90s. So I started in Houston, and HEB was I was with Chiquita. We did bananas back then. So you joined an amazing organization.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've love all the people there. I mean, the people have come and gone. I mean, it's just such a good organization for sure. But you also, as you mentioned, you absolutely have stepped into one of the most insane times for produce, just about across every desk. I mean, there's very few that have not felt some impact over the last 3 to 4 months. I mean, it's just been ridiculous. So, how, as managing through that, right? So you're coming into this space. Of course, you don't know, as far as you know, this is normal. And to some extent, we have moments, but we typically don't have it across the board everywhere. How are you bringing in what's some new ideas, new stuff that you're bringing in from those experiences, like I say, that weren't related to produce, but that's why they do that, is because they want you to bring in something that they've not thought about in produce.
No, I think so in produce, and I can speak, for HEB, we have so many partners that they've been in it for a very long time. So they have this tribal knowledge of what we should be doing. However, we have an opportunity where it's not all documented, right? And so we have this amazing department where we can, because of the volatility and what we experience, that if you can make it in produce, you can make it anywhere. And so we've been able to grow really great partners or leaders to go into other departments outside of produce if that's what interests them. But with that means a lot of new partners are coming in, me included. And so it's how do we really develop processes and then define those processes and standardize those processes of what great really looks like. So I'm sure a lot of my partners would say, like, oh, we're going to make a process out of this. But I think we have to, right?
Yeah.
You still have to be able to work in the gray because we experience that every single day. And when it can be process driven and you don't, then you can focus on the gray.
Yeah.
Because you have these processes, I think that's something that I've, hopefully I'd like to say the team would say that I brought, but I'm also just curious. I mean, they are the experts. I am not. And so my job is to learn from them and then support them, as their leader, in whatever they need support with.
Well, yeah, it's pretty common for those of us in it. You get conditioned to the world is always great.
Yep.
That's what we'll say. It's always, and you're right. Technically, it's not always gray. We just kind of feel like that because, usually something is in the gray, and so we just lump it all together. So that's interesting. And then, like I say, I think that makes sense because you don't have that years of experience that makes you, it's kind of a paradox. You train yourself to think that way, and then you're coming from the outside with a different perspective. And I think it makes a lot of sense that, do the process stuff when you can do the process stuff. It's not always great.
Yep.
So that's good.
You mentioned leadership a couple times. So what kind of a leader would you say you are? What style? What type of leader? Style.
I would say that my partners always come first, to the point that, what you said earlier, my job, anything that they need, so we go into the servant leadership, but I like to build teams. If I were to say, like, if one thing, and I look throughout my entire career, it's how do I build really great teams that can, because our jobs are hard. And sometimes, with partners that I've been working with, life's hard outside of work. So my job as their leader is how do I build a cohesive team that can solve some really complex problems? I think if you can't work together and have that level of collaboration, like what are we in it for, and who do we lean on? I'm a developer. If I were to give,
Yeah, well, they're not
one word
already
to
made,
it.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, so some require that, and I think there's so many people that have it wrong. I think we all think we know everything, but in reality, we know we don't. But I was telling somebody the other day, it's probably 20 years younger than me, that they were bragging a lot about how much they knew, and I gave them an example where I'll be 53 in a couple weeks, and I definitely don't know everything, but I know enough to seek, outside help. I work with an independent, business coach, and luckily my company, affords me, and ever since I've done that, it's opened my eyes significantly. Like,
Absolutely.
I will never stop learning, and excited to do so.
Well, and I think the more that you can, lean into your team and who's really good at different things, the better that we all are. Um, and humble yourself. I think that's important. Yeah, I'll be the first to say, hey, I don't know this, or this could be I think the last 6 months, my most famous line is probably, this could be a stupid question. But
Maybe you should come up with an acronym.
yeah, no, we have
should
too
do
many.
that today.
We have too many of
Y'all
them
have-
as it
hey,
is. We
y'all
have too
a
many.
ton of acronyms, believe me. I know.
So curious, as you've stepped in and with all the volatility that's going on, I know HEB is highly focused on making sure that the Texas consumer has the right pricing.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, prices are, you got to still make a margin.
Yep.
Have you, there's bound to have been some price increases out there. Are you seeing any impact? Have you felt any impact at the consumption level?
Absolutely. I think as we look over and how our shoppers and the trends of our shoppers, and I mean with just the changes, here in the economy, but also in Texas, we have, high population of immigrants and so forth. So we've seen consumption change, and not just with HEB, right? But when you look at even just competition, I think everyone is seeing consumption change, and it's how are we still relevant? How are we? We all know there's markets that are a challenge and we're losing money in every single day. But we ultimately, our job is to be able to supply that for Texans. So we'll continue to do that. And that's the company that HEB is. It'll turn around, but we're in this for the long run. And until it does, we'll continue to do what HEB does and give the right prices to our consumers.
Right.
You still keep in touch, I'm sure, with your ex direct reports.
Yes.
That's fun, right? When you move around, kind of. I mean, it adds another dynamic to.
Yeah.
That's kind of the web that's created, which is another a good reason for a move like yours. Obviously, HEB seems to do a very good job of it. Cross-functional training, if you will, but
yeah. Well, and I think it's not just about like me keeping in touch, but it's how do I get others in touch, with each other for a period, well, I was the warehousing person, so maybe people would reach out to me, and rightfully so, to if I needed to contact a warehouse about something. But now it's really how do we keep, making the connections with the teams that I've worked on, and the team has done a phenomenal job, solving bigger problems or really thinking of it cross departmentally versus just within our silo.
It's awesome.
So it's a fun industry. I mean, I'm telling you, it's one that I stumbled into as a young guy and loved being in. Super great people, seriously, all the way around. So you're here at Viva Fresh, right? So first produce show, right?
Second, it's my second.
Which one did you tend to first?
IFPA.
Okay.
Oh, you went to PMA last year?
Yeah, that was right
IFPA
when I
now.
started.
Oh, that's right. I called it the old
She
name because
literally-
I'm old.
See,
She
I don't
literally
even
just
know.
said IFPA. I
And
know.
You said PMA.
Oh yeah, PMA.
But it
That's
meant the same thing to you.
Yeah.
So.
So, all right. So you saw the big one. That's the big boy. So as you've been here today and IFPA, what do you come to the shows? What do you now looking for as you're new into it? What are you looking to find, learn?
Yeah, so for me, especially going through the last 6 months and how we've seen, the markets drop drastically in different commodities, we've learned that how do we have that surety of supply, right? So how do we find suppliers or growers that are in a different region, than where we currently focus, because things that we wouldn't think that haven't happened in 40 years, with the freeze in Florida and so forth, like it's happening.
Contingency planning,
Yeah.
basically, more than ever.
Absolutely. So for me, it's, who's here that is in a region maybe that we aren't in, who's here, and how do we keep those relationships, So these are the times where you either lay down or you say, this is only going to make me stronger. And I would say our team this is going to make us stronger. And when everything is on the upside, we're just going to see all the benefits from all the work that the team's been putting in.
Well, and I can tell you from, the Sunfed, the company that I was running, and I'm in the process of retiring, so I'm leaving, but still plugged in.
Congratulations.
But thank you very much. I can tell you on the grower side, both Mexico, Florida guys, I know plenty of guys out there. It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a tough, probably a year. It's been really, and so there's a lot that's a lot of companies, along with you guys, are having to learn and contingency plans and come up with stuff as well. So, yeah, it's difficult, but like you say, everybody should be stronger when it's all said and done. But boy, it's been a rough ride.
I sure hope so, man.
It's been a rough ride.
I thought, man, I was like, did I bring this?
You're bad luck.
But yeah.
Wow, I wouldn't have thought of that, but yeah, don't put that on yourself. Don't put that on yourself.
We were supposed to have some fun. We got into the wonky stuff. We delved off into wonky talk a little bit here.
What was your question going to be?
It's going to be about pickleball.
Okay.
I think that's important.
You're going to ask her if she plays pickleball?
No, I know she doesn't because we discussed that before.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask her if she would consider being.
Well, we have a
next
few
year's.
minutes. Actually, our time's flown by.
Oh.
Mason's given us the high sign, but we have a couple minutes, so let's focus on some personal stuff. Like, I know she's a fitness junkie.
Okay,
so
love
talk
it.
a little about that, but go ahead and give your
well. Let's
question.
do the pickleball. Just can you maybe commit to join us next year at the pickleball tournament?
If I need to sign a contract right now, I will.
I'll get one drawn up here shortly, and we'll be all set.
You know what? I've played sports my whole life, and I will play any sport. I am super competitive, so now I know I at least have a year to practice.
Yeah, well, you've definitely got some good
you only
players.
need maybe a week. I'm joking.
Coming from a guy that's never played.
I've never played, but heck, you see how good of a golfer I am. I mean, I have to be a good pickleball player.
Yeah. Well, trust me, that being bad at golf has not had a negative effect on my pickleball play.
What are your hobbies, though? You have any?
Yeah, I have 2 daughters. My husband and I have 2 girls, and so for me, it's really how do we, whatever sports that they want to play. 4-year-old and 10-year-old. So my 10-year-old plays club soccer. So hobbies are 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Traveling wherever she is. But something that I always keep, you talked about fitness. 5 to 7 days a week, I will do some type of physical activity because that's my me time, which I don't have a lot of,
You a runner or gym?
I go through phases, but I joke with the team. I go to D1 because if this doesn't work, I'll become a D1 athlete. So
she's going D1.
Yeah.
But no, so I've lifted. I've done CrossFit. I'll go through spurts where I'll do a half marathon or whatever, but it's just anything that's physical activity I'll do as long as it's, keeping me healthy.
She might also be a good mentor for the clean eating
challenge.
We're gonna get her all recruited up for everything.
Man, let me write that down.
There you go. That's what I'm here for.
CEC, pickleball.
Yeah. So.
All right. We know she's busy, but she's gonna make some time for clean eating challenge. It's gonna be amazing. We're actually interviewing one of our one of our participants here in a few minutes, Mr. Tommy Wilkins. So you'll hear more about that here in a minute. But so chasing the soccer ball, or the
Mhm.
kids, you chasing the kids, chasing the soccer ball.
I will also play
Oh, really?
with them. Yeah. And when I play with 10-year-olds, I'm not afraid to knock them down accidentally. But I like I said, I'm super competitive. So yeah, I'll play with my girls. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I don't know. Maybe we don't want you at the pickleball courts.
You want to win
I
next
got
year?
a lot. Maybe
I don't need more competition.
I got a lot to live up to now. So now,
Did you see his little medal? His little.
See, I'm
I
at
do.
third place. I got to work my
Hey.
way up. I think I got third last year. I got third this year. I can't seem to get over the hump.
I gotta try to go for that first place.
Yeah,
then.
well,
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with bronze, baby.
I don't know. I'm in that. You know, if you're
It's my
second,
Ricky
if you're
Bobby
second, I
reference.
know. And I was gonna say I'm more a believer if you're second, you're last.
When he asked him if he could let him win once,
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So
All right. Well, anything else we should know about you? Anything you're excited about?
You know,
Anything from a business perspective,
Yeah.
personal perspective? What's like your next look forward to moment?
I think the impact that I hopefully can bring and the support that I can bring. But no, I look forward to continuing to learn and grow with the team. And someday not be the one that's just listening, but being able to continue to contribute. So
That's awesome.
thank you.
Well, thank you
Thank
for
you,
being
guys.
with us so much.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
guys so
much.
much for
It's
having
been
me.
a pleasure, and it flew by, but I'm sure the time flew by, but I'm sure we'll be talking again in the near future.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Have a great rest of the show, by the way.
Thank
pleasure
you.
meeting you.
Nice
Thanks,
to meet
y'all. We'll see you in a bit.